Hey guys. So this is an update on my healthcare situation related to my scoliosis. So today I had a doctor appointment with my family doctor, and it was mostly about my disability paperwork that I originally went to her about a week ago. She was supposed to have it sent off a week ago, but has clearly not. So, there's questions on it that the doctor is supposed to go over with you, type of thing. But, I mean, they generally don't. They just fill it out as to what they know of your ability to do and how you feel and whatever from what you've told them and whatnot. Now, I don't go to the doctor that much in the first place, and that's on me. Like, I don't go for a typical physical every year. I have gotten more recently into it just because I'm paying more attention to my health and whatnot. But in the past I haven't been, really. So again, that's my fault. That being said, every time I do go to the doctor, I do talk to her about the pain that I'm in and the difficulty of doing stuff that I go through. And this has, of course, only been since the last 2 years, because it started when I got pregnant, or rather had my child. So it's pretty recent as to how long I've been seeing this doctor. I have been seeing her, being technically a patient of hers, for about, I'm going to say 10 to 13 years, roughly. No reason specifically either, just when we moved from British Columbia to Ontario, that's the doctor that we ended up going with. So I will be switching doctors when I'm able to, because apparently no doctor right now is accepting new patients. I'm going to try to call around tomorrow to see if that's changed in the last 2 weeks since I've called before, but more than likely I'll have to wait. But anyway, so I go to this appointment. She has the papers. She has them all filled out for the most part. Not really sure how, since she ignores me every time I tell her about the pain and whatever else. So she has it filled out inaccurately. I explained to her various different things about how it is inaccurate and how the reality of it is. Like, I don't just tell her that's not true or whatever, or, I actually tell her how it's not true and what it actually is. Halfway through trying to tell her this, though, she cuts me off and just tells me, oh no, that's not right. You can still do it. Every single question. Now, mind you, the questions are on a scale of 1 to 4, difficulty-wise, emotional and physical, of how well you can do certain things. So it's not just a straight up yes or no. It's a scale. And she has me all at 1s and 2s, which is the least difficult, obviously. Certain things, I don't know if you heard that noise, it's my washer. Hopefully I didn't cut in too much. Anywho. Yeah, so the scale, she has me at 1s and 2s, which is inaccurate for most of it. There are a couple that it's accurate for, because that just doesn't fall into what my disability is. So I tried to correct her on this. And I tried to explain to her how that's not true. That's not accurate, you know, whatever. And then I explained to her how it isn't. But by the time I'm trying to explain to her how it isn't, she's already cut me off. And she's like, but you can still do it. And I'm like, yes, I can still do it. But it's hard. Or it's painful. Or it's both. And she's just not having it. And this is a scale of 1 to 4, you know, of how difficult it is emotionally and physically for each question. So, I mean, what do you say to a doctor, the only doctor you're able to see, when you're trying to get these papers in and it's on a timeline? It's frustrating. She also tries to tell me what I can and can't do. I don't know where she gets off doing that, but she does. She loves to do it. I'll tell her I can't bend over for more than 5 seconds, say, without, you know, needing to straighten my body, torso, you know, whatever, out again. And she's like, nope, you can still bend over. It's not hard. You're not struggling. Even though I say, yeah, it's hard to do. Can't do it too well. It doesn't feel great. Or there's the, I can't stand for more than 3.5 hours in a single spot. Or just like mingling about. Anything that's not hard work, I can't do more than 3.5 hours of just kind of meandering around. My body can't handle it. And this coming from a person who used to work 12-hour days. Sucks. Sucks now. I wish I could do the 12-hour days again. But anyway, besides the point. So I tell her this, and she's like, but you can still physically stand up. That wasn't the question, though. The question was, how do you feel standing up? Which sometimes, when I stand up, it's fine. It doesn't hit me until I've been up for a little bit. But sometimes it's painful. Every day is different. And like, I can switch halfway through the day, 3/4 through the day, it doesn't matter. She doesn't seem to understand this, though. No matter how many times I try to explain to her, how many different ways I try to explain to her, she doesn't care and she doesn't understand. She's the type of person that doesn't want to understand. So there's a question on there that it was on the scale of 1 to 4 again. And it wanted you to rate yourself on how well you could walk 3 blocks. How difficult it was. I cannot walk 3 blocks in the heat right now because the humidity, for some reason, affects my body now. My spine is curving more and compressing into my rib cage because it's twisting so much that it's like going into my rib cage. And that is compressing my lungs, which means I can't take a full breath sometimes, or it's harder to breathe, and I can't be outside in the heat too long. And even being in an air-conditioned place, environment, whatever, I can't be inside just kind of doing nothing, sort of. Well, I can sit and just kind of like, you know, chill, but if I'm doing any kind of moderate activity inside an air-conditioned place, it doesn't last too long for that either. And that's been recent, within the last couple months. That's gotten worse. So I decided to take it easy and do what I can, take breaks, you know. But anywho, the question, how well can you walk 3 blocks, how does it affect you, kind of thing, I tell her that I just can't do it. I can't walk 3 blocks right now. Outside, that is. And she's like, you can't walk 3 blocks? Like, she questioned it, mocked it. And then she's like, do you know how long 3 blocks is the distance? So I thought it was like 3 blocks, you know? Like, a street to a street is 1 block. So 3 streets, 1 street to the next. She's like, oh no, it's not that. 3 blocks is 3 businesses, 3 plots. She literally thinks and told me that 3 blocks, well, 1 block, is 1 individual building on a street. So 3 blocks would be 3 buildings on a street. That is what she thinks 3 blocks is. And because of this, even though I told her I can't walk 3 blocks, and what the actual definition that I thought 3 blocks was without looking up the definition, she put that I could do it easily, because that's what she thinks. Whether she's actually that stupid, or whether she's just trying to blow me off, who knows? But she definitely knew what we were talking about, so it's not a misunderstanding. So the whole thing kind of went like that, where it was a scale of 1 to 4 difficulty-wise. And I was trying to tell her different things, how difficult it is for each thing, you know. I even tried to physically show her bending over, touching each leg, because my left leg is harder to touch than my right, because it's longer. It's not technically longer, it's just that's how my body's warped, that it's elongated. So yeah, I tried to explain that to her physically, trying to show her, and she doesn't pay me any attention. She's just looking at the papers, ignoring me. So, I don't know, but it's frustrating. Trying to tell your doctor you're in pain, and how you're in pain, what's causing it, how your body is feeling, what the x-rays show that you can see. And she just doesn't care. She doesn't know much about scoliosis as a whole, but she also doesn't care. But, you know, God forbid I don't have a job. I mean, I do, but she always wants to make sure that I do have a job. That's her most prized question whenever I show up there is, do you have a job? Are you working? So, just thought I'd share my lovely healthcare experience, an update. There will be more to come, I'm sure, in the future. See you guys later.